Live. It's Venomisto with another drum programming tutorial stream coming at you live. You know what it is, what it do, what it does, what it did. So today, about to get into another little drum programming tutorial stream. We're going to look at more shuffles. Instead of doing a halftime shuffle today, we're going to be doing a regular time shuffle. Going to do some more power hand inversions using Superior Drummer 3. Let's check this out. Let's take a listen to what this is going to sound like. Okay. So what we're going to be doing here is taking the standard power hand da 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 and inverting it so we give it a little bit more syncopation. We're going to be moving those dotted eighth notes, or the first and the third of the triplet eighth note, and I've got a couple other streams I've been doing around shuffles, so you should take a watch of those if you want to get the basics here. But in this case, we're going to move from a halftime shuffle, which is really laying down a backbeat, to a standard shuffle where we're going on double that. So boom, ba 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 boom, ba 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 boom, ba 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 boom, ba ba. But there's something cool that we can do on the power hand, whether that's on the hat or the ride, to give it this syncopation sound, which is what we're going to focus today on 5-10 minute stream. So this is kind of a classic in some metal forms of drumming. So let me go in here and remove everything we have, and then start from scratch. So, you know, a guy like Gene Hoglan of, you know, played in bands like Dark Angel and Death, on some of those Death albums, Individual Thought Patterns, and especially Symbolic, he does this beat a number of times. So it's a pretty cool way, but also for folks that are in other types of drumming, not necessarily just metal drumming, I think this is a cool way to spice up your shuffle if you are playing something in swung time instead of, again, the standard dun 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 dun. You know, you can do that for a while. Maybe when you switch over to the ride, you go with this. So enough talking. Let's jump in and take a listen to take a look at how we're going to do this. So the first thing that we want to do is focus on the kick here. So we're using Superior Drummer 3's grid editor. Let's go ahead and put a kick on the 1, the 3. We're going to do a 2-bar pattern, so on the 1 and 3. Cool. Now we're going to throw a snare on the 2 and the 4. And we're at 140 BPM. So that's a pretty good BPM. Pretty standard. Kick on the 1 and the 3, snare on the 2 and the 4. All right, cool. So now what we want to do is we do want to give it that standard bounce. So again, I'm still on the pencil tool here to insert new notes. So I'm going to go ahead and put a kick, an open kick hit on the 1E, 1E, the third triplet eighth note, the third dotted eighth note, and again here. So for each of these quarter notes, we're going to have a kick on the first and the third, which is a lot of times what people do on the hi-hat itself, but we're not going to do that. So let's take a listen to this. So we've got a kick on the first and the third of the first quarter note, then we go snare on the first and kick on the third. So cool. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do some velocity automation. Stick around. I'm going to show you that in just a couple minutes. Let's get the rest of the notes programmed out, and then I'll loop back, no pun intended, on the velocity programming. So in this case, we're going to be doing a ride idea. So what I'm going to use to add more to the way I'm accenting this is I'm going to use the bow tip, which is standard, and then the bell shank. So kind of hitting it on the side stick there. So let's go ahead and for each quarter note, so we're at 7, 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. So we've got 4 quarter notes in this measure. For each one, I'm going to go ahead and put the nothing on the first triplet eighth note of the quarter note. I'm going to put the softer hit, the bow tip, on the second triplet eighth note, and then a bell shank on the third triplet eighth note. So again, nothing on the first eighth note, nothing on the first triplet eighth note of the quarter note, then bow tip on the second, bell shank on the third. nothing on the first, bow tip on the second, bell shank on the third. And you could do this all just on the ride. You're going to see when we go to automate the velocity that this gives it a nice, it's kind of like this lifting up feel as you flow along, which gives it, again, that really nice syncopation when we combine it. So again, on the first, on the actual downbeat of the quarter note, nothing. On the second triplet eighth note, we put the bow tip ride hit. And then on the third triplet eighth note, we put the bell shank ride hit. So let's go ahead and duplicate this over. So I'm going to go ahead and select this whole first measure. You can see I'm going from 7 to 8. Then I'm going to do an Alt, Option on Mac, I believe Alt on on Windows. And I'm going to drag it over to this next one. So now I've got this pattern right here for both of the measures that we're programming. So let's go ahead and listen to this. What I love about Superior Drummer 3's grid editor, among other things, is that I can go here and actually collapse down all these. So regardless that we're using different automations on the cymbal, on the ride cymbal, for instance, I can collapse this down and view all the programmed hits all on a single lane. This is effing amazing, especially when you get into the heavyweight hi-hat stuff, to have all these articulations here, but then to be able to look at your drum programming pattern just by collapsing the lane. This is so valuable. I think I have to do another video on it because it really blew my mind when I first saw this user interface in SD3, and I'm like, man, I'm going to be using this puppy for all drum programming from now on. So I'm getting too excited about it. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what this sounds like, and let's really use our eyes that we can see how on the kick and the snare, this interplay, we're going first, third, first, third, first, third, first, third. So there's nothing happening on the second triplet eighth note of each quarter note. On the ride, though, we're going second, third, second, third, second, third. And to counterpoint that, there's nothing happening on the first triplet eighth note of each quarter note. This is giving us a nice syncopated feel like we talked about last week. Okay, cool. So now basically time to do some velocity automations and add some ghost notes, and then we're going to be done. That's the pattern. Nice and simple. Give you folks something actionable that you can go and take out to your swung drum programming needs this week, right now. No hesitation. So let's get into it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm over here on my pointer tool now instead of the pencil tool. And let's go ahead and select this whole lane. When I click here on the bow tip ride, the bow tip articulation for the ride instrument lane, I can now drag down because I want to lower the velocity for all these. But then I'm going to click somewhere else to deselect all of them. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do some automation just to get them kind of a different, just a little bit different. You don't want them all the same. This takes 5 seconds to do, and then I've got a little bit more realistic sounding program drum part. Similarly on the bell shank, I'm going to take these down. But I do want these to be more, highlighted, if you will, emphasized, accented. So here you see we've got this nice ka-ka, 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 ka-ka. Similarly on the kick, I'm not even going to, I want to get right off all of them. So what I'm going to do is the ones that are hitting on the 1 and the 3, we're going to let bang. These accent ones we're going to take down on the... So every time I hit the kick on the third triplet eighth note, we're going to be lowering it. So see how I'm going? I'm leaving the ones that are on the 1 right here and the 3 right here, but all the other kick hits I'm bringing down a little bit. This is how you'd really play it in real life. Da 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 da. Cool, so really the only thing left to do now is to add a nice little ghost note. So here I'm going to go and program a ghost note after my first snare hit, the snare hit on the 2, and then I'm not going to do one on the 4. Next measure, I'm going to do one on the 2, and again, do a little bit different automation, but right there. And what I am going to do on this 4 is I'm going to go ding, ding. And let's get these nice and soft. I don't want these ones loud. Maybe even this a little bit under the 127 max value. Cool, so let's hear this now. I think I did one more hit in the original. Right on the very last triplet eighth note of measure 1, I'm going to put that nice little ghost note. Let's get this one nice and soft too. So right here on the third triplet eighth note of the last quarter note of the first bar, let's put one more snare hit. Nice and soft. You know what? One more right at the end there. Let's get this nice kind of roll coming out of it. So we're going to have 4 triplet eighth notes in a row to end the 2-bar pattern. Nice. So there you have it. It's a quick and dirty way to get some more syncopation in your shuffles and other swung drum beat needs. Take that power hand, whether it's on the hat or the ride, move it over, get it into the inversion, and you're going to have more syncopation and a unique sound for this that I think can actually help all you folks. So hey, that's going to do it for this week. If you enjoyed this drum programming tutorial video, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell so you get notified of new videos if you want to see these. We post them up every Saturday. And hey, if there's something that I haven't covered in terms of a drum beat that you want to see how to program or anything like that, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section so I know to do that. Also, for any folks that are going to be out at NAMM this coming week in Anaheim, this is going to be a great thing. I want you to stop by the Audionamics booth up in the new Pavilion Hall. I'm giving a vocal extraction and drum programming tutorial every day at 1. I'm also speaking at the A3E workshop, so you can check on my socials for more information. That's going to go deeper into the drum programming and how I use the Audionamics vocal extraction technology to create remixes and then use drum programming to really build it out. So this has been great. Thanks for the few folks that came on the live stream. Again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Okay, hasta luego.